So y'all want to know about foreclosure. Foreclosure, well, you know what foreclosure is, but legislation I've had this past year has been passed in its House version. Senate bill is 5275. It was passed as a House bill, 1362. What it does is, and this is after many years of trying, gets the banks to sit down with their client, the borrower, before foreclosing, not just to meet and confer, which is a provision we had previously, but to actually go over a mediation, to have a separate mediation process. Now that's a process I've used as a lawyer for many, many years, never in foreclosure, but boy, it sure would help. It means you don't need to go to court. Now, in our state, we don't go to court for foreclosure anyhow, but more importantly, before there even is a foreclosure, before the bank sends the notice of foreclosure and the notice of default, sit down with a third party who's neutral, but who knows the law. Talk about whether the homeowner has the income or the assets that could be translated into a bigger down payment or keeping up in the payments that are already being made. Whether the person qualifies for federal, not the bailout money, they don't get the bailout money, but the federal foreclosure assistance that came 2 years ago under the President Obama's stimulus package. And if that happens, then there is a good, strong likelihood of avoiding foreclosure altogether, keeping people in their homes, keeping kids in their schools, keeping neighborhoods together, keeping other house prices up, keeping our society together. Foreclosure, it sounds like, oh, it's somebody else's problem. But when it happens en masse, the way it's been happening, it's all of our problems because it really tears the connecting threads out of our neighborhoods. The bill's passing. The House version is now in the Senate here. I'll be pulling it out of Rules Committee and the next chance I get. Put it on the floor, pass that Hummer, send it back over to the House. They got a few changes to make over there. Governor's going to sign it. And I'm going to ask, along with Representative Orwell, the House sponsor, that we do that signing maybe in a foreclosed house somewhere in the 37th district, or in her district, the 33rd. Somewhere where the cameras that come along with these news guys can take a good look at the other for sale signs, all the other telltale signs in any neighborhood, that this neighborhood is subject to being run down by foreclosure. Doesn't sound like it asks much of a bank to meet and confer with their homeowner, but they fought it for a couple of years while I had this bill. Doesn't ask like much for the homeowners, the banks who get, I don't know how many $100 billion in profits out of Washington State, to spend $9 million, which they would call budget dust, to spend on housing consultants to give people some good advice and set them up with a mediation program. They're going to do that, and they're going to spend the money that, in order to do that, they will add $250 to every default notice that they file. Adds up to about $9 million, and that'll fund this process. I feel happy that we did this. Representative Orwell and I worked hand in hand to do it. We worked finally, after some years of grumbling, with the cooperation of the banks. They finally saw the writing on the wall. And that is where the voters made themselves clear. The reason the banks cooperate is that they heard loud and long in letters to the editor and comments in the press over the last year that made them say, this year we better cooperate because this House member and this senator are going to run us over if we don't. That's the democratic process. You all had a hand in that, and thank you.